got it. I'm gonna rename myself here so I'm actually me. And I think we are probably good to go ahead and start. So let me see what's going on over here in the chat window. Steve says he doesn't have a microphone, so that's okay. All right. Awesome. All right. So how about a little bit of actual demo training today, y'all? So I know we haven't been doing a whole lot of that, but so I do want to just give you an update on a couple of things real quick. So in light of some of the stuff that's going on out here around us right now, in Georgia, hair salons, nail salons, and gyms, as of Friday, will be opening up for business on Friday. So that tells me that things are going back to normal. That's in Georgia. In South Carolina, this is currently department stores, sporting goods stores, all of your big box stores are open, back in business as normal. Bookstores, many and most of any other kind of department store, any of your large retailers are back to doing business. And that is current, it's now. So again, things are slowly returning to some sense of normalcy. So what does that mean? That tells me that people are going to be, after being cooped up at home, after not having spent any money for this length of period that they've been at home, people are going to start spending money again. And for us, that is a very good thing. Right now, there is an unprecedented demand for our product, and that's one thing I think it's super important that we keep in mind. That now there is a demand for what we do, for this product that we have. Yes, we know it's amazing, and we've all been singing its praises and doing our thing for however long we've been in this. And we've been, Eddie, I know you've said before, it's all Kelly talks about. I know when I was still working EMS, people got tired of me talking about Rainbow, but it's what we do. And when you're passionate about it, it's what you talk about. But right now, there's an unprecedented demand for what we're doing. So you got to keep that in mind. Number one, for this time of year, you got pollen, right? So I don't know about y'all, but my black Jeep is not black. Not only from the pine tree out here in the parking lot that I literally park underneath, but from the huge pine tree at my neighbor's house. My black car is yellow, okay? So you got that going for us. And then on top of, this other thing, the unmentionable, that other thing that's going on right now. So you got the Delaware Department of Health in Delaware said that even from the beginning, when everything started shutting down, they were still allowing products, businesses that were, cleaning the air filter, air cleaning products were still allowed to operate, even when everything else in the state was shutting down. So, that's one thing that we do that is helpful. Again, leading back to that unprecedented demand for this product that we have. So our closing average is as high as it's ever been, as in the 6 years that I've been in Rainbow. But just going through some notes that Jay left for me here, it says our closing average is as high as any month in his 31-year career of Rainbow. And Crystal, you know this because I know you've continued to run demos. Eddie, you've continued to run demos. If we get in a house, there's a 50% chance of selling a Rainbow. And that's for, even some of these folks that are brand new that don't have a normal 50% closing average. We've got people that are selling 50, 60, 70%. And, you know, maybe they're not even really that good at rainbow. Again, an unprecedented demand. You just got to get out there and do it. That's what all this is leading to, is you just got to get out there and do it. Here's another thing, retired people are getting a stimulus check. How many times have you been in a house where you heard they're on the fixed income? Well, right now you've got retired people that are on the fixed income that are going to get a $1,200 stimulus check. That's extra money in their pocket. So retired folks are even going to be spending money right now. So that's a positive. So lots of positive stuff going on. So how do you get started when maybe you've taken a break over the last month or something? Well, what could you do? Well, you know, some of the things that we're encouraging people to do, Candace, maybe you hadn't been on a demo in a while. Wow, Ryan, you are in front of a floating rainbow. What could you do? Call back some of your old green lights. We literally have green lights in the computer that have never been contacted. So if you've got green lights, call them. Go back. We're encouraging people, call your last 10 sales. Have them post on Facebook again. Have them post, have them repost. Here's one thing that we can do. If your customer will post on Facebook for you, okay? If they'll share your post and make it a public post, all right? They send you a picture. They send you a screenshot of their public post. You send me that picture, okay? They leave your post on their page for 3 days, shared as public. We're going to give them a bottle of deodorizer. We will send it to them. You can come pick it up. They can come pick it up. However they want to do it, we can send it, okay? So get your customers to reshare your post. Make it public, all right? Now, before I know, we told you have them share it friends only. Why does it need to be public? Well, because we're gonna go check. We're gonna make sure it stays up to 3 days. Okay, have them post it. Send you a screenshot of it. Send that picture to me. Send that to Michael's cell phone, and they leave it up for 3 days. After 3 days, we'll send them a bottle of deodorizer. Right, a bottle of disinfectant to go with their rainbow. Okay, does everybody understand that? So call back your last 10 sales. Right? They need a bottle of deodorizer to go with the rainbow. Call back your last 10 sales, have them repost. I'm going to say it for a third time, right? Call back your last 10 sales, have them repost. Make it public. Send you a screenshot. Send that screenshot to me. After 3 days, we'll send them a bottle of deodorizer or disinfectant, okay? All right, that's a $25 value. That's a $25 bottle of fresh air just for sharing your post publicly and leaving it there for 3 days. All right, that's going to get you some new surveys. Now, here's one thing that we've noticed. You ready? People that have started in Rainbow since all this started, you know what they're doing? They're running demos. People that started in Rainbow before all of this mess, they haven't really been doing anything. But the ones that started since all of this, they're still doing it because this is what they know. It's the same thing with your surveys. People that have clicked on a link since all this mess started, they're still letting us come show them the rainbow, right? If they have clicked on a survey link since this started, we're probably going to go show them a rainbow. But if they've clicked on the link before all this, they probably haven't answered the phone. They're telling us call them back when all this is over. So new surveys, those are the people that we're getting to go show. So who do we want to call? Well, we want to call new surveys. How do you get new surveys? Get them to post it again, okay? So we'll give them a bottle of fresh air just for posting. That's one thing we're doing, and we'll pay for that. You're not going to have to pay for that fresh air. We'll send them a $25 bottle of fresh air, okay? Now, that's going to get their friends. Ask your last 10 sales to contact their friends. It's a whole lot easier for your customer to get their friends to watch a demo than it is for us to call them and ask their friends to watch. It's a whole lot easier for them to ask their friends than it is for you to call and ask their friends. Okay, that's the whole point behind a green light at all, is that it's easier for your customer to ask their friends than it is for you or for us, right? So when you're on the phone with them, go ahead and get them back on the phone. Get them excited again about getting some of those free gifts. Help them earn their attachments, right? Do you have someone that you sold a rainbow to and they don't have their gifts yet? Right? Because if they don't have their gifts, honestly, don't they have a half a rainbow? All right, because you got to have a shampoo or mop to go with rainbow. They've got a half a system. Call them back. Say, let me help you. Right? Help me help you. Get some of your friends to let me come show them the rainbow demonstration. I'll wear gloves. We're going to sanitize the air while we're in the house. To get them back on the phone and to get them to help you get in a house. All right, we can get this thing going again. All right, but the biggest thing, call back those people, get them to post, make it public, then get a screenshot of it. Send me a picture of it. If it's there for 3 days, we'll send them a bottle of fresh air. Cool deal? Everybody good with that?
Yep.
All right, so fantastic. All right, let's do some demo training. So now we hadn't done a whole lot of Zoom actual demo training, so I want to kind of change that tonight. So let me grab my demo book. I'll be right back. I moved everything except the demo book. It's over here in the corner. So now, the first part of the demo, we call it the front talk. Front talk starts with this page. It's fact humans need 3 things to live in: clean food, clean water, clean and fresh air. Now, do you use your book when you go through your demo? If you're not using the book, you should. Your book is going to help you. Not only is it going to help keep you on track, but it's going to help you recruit too. Because if you go into a house, and I'll be honest with you, 6 years into this thing, I do not need this book. I have it memorized front to back, forwards, backwards. I can start in the middle. You give me any page of the book and I can start there and start with my demo. I don't need a book to do a demo, but if I were to walk into a house right now, I would sit down in front of the customer and I would use the book, because the book is a visual. Plus it helps you recruit, because the customer's thinking, if I come into your house and just talk for 2 hours and I do my demo flawlessly and just spit facts at them and talk to them for 2 hours, they're thinking there's no way they could do this. But if it looks simple, Sybil, like I'm just reading from a book, Candace, they're thinking, well, I could probably do that. I mean, he's just reading from a book, right? So you can see how that, Jessica, that would probably help you get you some recruits, right? Because it makes it look easy. Now, I will say, though, use the book, but, Eddie, you don't want the book to be a hindrance either, right? So you don't want to sit down in front of them and read them a bedtime story, right? So you're going to use their names. You're going to make eye contact with them. You're going to talk fast so it looks like you're in a hurry. So we're going to read through all this. We're going to talk about how that you need food is more important than air or water, because it's the thing you can go the least amount of time without. We're going to talk about how you have the allergy-related symptoms, and clean or dirty air is related. What is what's causing that. Polluted air. The air inside your home is more hazardous to your health than the air on the outside. But when you get to this page right here, what may be in the dirty household, what may be in household dust particles. Sorry. This is where we're going to use our demo light. Now, you got to scrape your light a lot. I don't know if you use your demo light when you go on a demo, but you absolutely should. You got to use your light, and you got to scrape your light a lot. Okay. So you scrape your light across the carpet. You hold it up out here at eye level where they can see all the dirt and dust floating around. You use it a lot. You got to gross them out. Okay. But you got to be aware of where you're holding it. You got to get it out in the open. It's at eye level. Not pointed at them. It's parallel to the floor. Okay. All right. So you scrape the light a lot. The more you use the light, the more grossed out they're going to be. The bigger you make the problem. The problem in their home is dirty air. Okay. The bigger the problem, the better the solution. Of course, we all know the solution to indoor air pollution is what? Well, that's the rainbow. Okay. Exactly, Sybil. It's the rainbow. All right. So now the next page talks about the dust mites. We talk about how small they are and the fact that 7,000 of them can fit on a single fingernail. Super, super small. We talk about how the bulk of my food consumption is left off human skin particles, and they're feeding off of us, because every 28 days you shed the outermost layer of skin. And then you find them in your mattress, and every one of us are allergic to it, but it's not the dust mite you're allergic to. We're actually allergic to their dust mite feces. Okay. Where's all that noise coming from? All right. So then we talk about Dr. Alfred's dam and how he said, don't use dusters, mops, or brooms because you're scattering the dust around and your vacuum cleaner pollutes more than it cleans. Where does the dirty and unsafe household dust come from? Again, scraping the light on this page because you got your cheat note over here. Does everybody else hear all that static? No, it's just me.
Only a little.
I hear it too.
Oh my God.
I feel like it's only when you talk. It sounds like snap, crackle, pop.
Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. All right, so we rake the light a lot on this page as well. We talk about how Mother Nature uses rain to clean the outside air we breathe, and of course we use water to clean ourselves and our valuable belongings. Now we're going to go through all this again. We're excited. We're talking fast. We're moving around a lot. It might be me. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Now, then we get to the air wash. Now everybody knows how to do an air wash. We're going to shine the light from the bottom. From the top, to show them that the water's clean. I know y'all can't see this because we're on the floor. The water sits on the floor because we're going to show them that the water is clean because we've been scraping the light around a lot. Some of that might have settled down in the water. So then we're going to put it together. We're going to run the rainbow for a minute. We're going to show the dirt going in. Then we're going to let them smell it. Then we're going to let them feel it. And then we're going to shine the light from the bottom, show them how dirty the water is. You can't see any dirt in there, right? So all of that to get them to say that the water is dirty, to show them that the water's dirty. Now, after we've done all of that, then we talk about the low speed. And then after we talk about the low speed, now we're going to come back and talk and put the fragrances in. Talk about how it's a certified air cleaner, put the fragrances in, put the fresh air in. World's most advanced cleaning system. We talk about everything the Rainbow does and how you're wasting your time when you use traditional household cleaning needs. But here's what I actually want to talk about. This is the VacKill. Now, I don't know how many of y'all actually do a VacKill when you do a Rainbow demo. This is my absolute favorite part of the demo. In fact, Ryan and Jay laugh at me when it comes time for me to go to the trailer and dig out a new vacuum to use for a training class, because I absolutely get excited when I find a vacuum that blows a lot of dirt and that I get that has really dramatic effect for a training class, okay? So my absolute favorite, if I don't get asked the price of the Rainbow after I do an air wash, which a lot of times I do, this will be, if not the second time, the first time that I get asked, well, how much is the Rainbow, okay? So let's take a look at your vacuum cleaner. So I get up, and this is why I'm gonna just assume that they're going to go get their vacuum for me, right? I move the Rainbow off the box and I wait for them to go get it. Now, should they not go get it, then I'm going to go get it for them, or at least offer. Of course, they're not going to let me go to the closet, but this is where I'm going to pretend like I'm going to go get it, but they go get it for me. Now, I'm going to bring it back, put it on the box. You're all excited. Just in case. Nope, that wasn't the problem. So it turns out it ain't me. All right, so I bring their vacuum and I put it on the box. Now, if you're using one of these mouse pads, you do want to take that loose because their vacuum will eat that up.
I do not hear that.
Now, when you put it on the box, you are going to want to plug it in. Now, I like to ask them a couple of questions while I'm getting all set up here. Like, how long have you had your Eureka there? It looks like a nice one. How long you had it? How much did you pay for it? Of course, I'm over here plugging it up right now because you got to plug it up when you put it on the box to make sure that it's not turned on. Now, what's the problem with it being turned on? Well, if I don't plug it up right here, I may go through all of my steps right here and get to the part where I turn it on, or excuse me, get to the part where I want to show them the dirt, and then I go plug it up, and I'm across the room, and the dirt blows out. Well, nobody's ready because, well, I'm not ready because I don't have my light ready, right? So I got to plug it up first so that I'm not across the room when the dirt blows out. Now, if it were on right now, it's not a big deal. I just turn it off, say, oh, y'all forgot to turn it off last time you used it. All right, so now it's on the box. I always ask them this. I say, now, Sybil, let me ask you, have you ever come home from work and sat down and studied your vacuum? Now, I know that's a silly question, right? But Candace, believe it or not, being in this line of work, I've actually studied a few vacuums. I call it vacuumology, right? Now, see, what I've learned is that all vacuums, Eddie, they have 4 basic parts. I've got them listed here in my book. You can see I've got an exhaust, a filter device, a motor, and an intake. All right, so I talk about the 4 parts, but then I want to identify the 4 parts. So I like to go down my list and then back up. So the intake, that's where the dirt and gust goes in. Now, that would be down here at the bottom where the dirt goes in, okay? Well, what about the motor? Y'all know where the motor's at on this thing? But you're right, it's somewhere in there where it makes it run. What about the filter device? Where's y'all's filters at? Now, they may or may not know. If they don't know, then we just start looking. I'm going to find where it says filter usually, okay? So, filters on this one, well, you probably got some. You got one right in there. It says washable, okay? Oh, you got one right there. It says filter, okay? So you got a couple of those. You got some filters on here, all right? So you got some filters, at least 2 I can see there. And the last thing, it says exhaust. You know where the exhaust is? And they may say that it's on the front, it's on the back. I say, well, I'm not sure. I've never seen one of these models before. Tell you what, let's turn it on and see if we can find it. I turn it on. With my hand. There it is. It's right there. Now, I don't know if y'all heard that. This one's super loud, but you probably couldn't even hear me over it. It's so loud. All right, so, but I turned it on and I felt for it with my hand, right? So I'm feeling, even if I know where it's at, I still pretend like I'm feeling for it, right? So I find it with my hand and then I want them to feel it, right? So I'm gonna pick it up and hold it over to them and say, here, feel that. Now, Crystal, you know what I don't say right here is smell that, right? Now, that's the whole point of this. Jose, I want them to smell what their vacuum smells like, because, I mean, I don't know if y'all remember what your vacuum smelled like, Eddie, before you started using the Rainbow, but most of them smell bad, right? I know I had a Bissell, and it smelled god-awful, right? But I need to remind them of that, because I just showed them how great the Rainbow smelled, right? We've talked about that. So I want them to understand how bad this one is. So I hold it over. I can't say smell it, because I get a black eye, okay? So I say, here, feel that, and they let me get real close to them. So now they felt the exhaust, but they're also commenting right here on how bad it smells. Now, so on the next page, it says find the exhaust with my hand, okay? Now, after I do that, I'm going to talk about how it says fine particles able to pass through the pores of your vacuum cleaner bag or filter. See, Sybil, your vacuum filters, they have little tiny pores. I mean, you know what pores are, right? Kind of like your skin. Candace, what's a pore? You know what pores are? What are they? Can we hear you? There you go. What are pores?
Pores is the holes inside the filter.
Absolutely. So they got pores. They got little itty bitty holes, right? So it's kind of like a coffee filter here, and you can see how it's made. So what happens is a coffee filter has little itty bitty holes. It lets the water pass through, Jessica, but it holds the coffee grounds back, right? So your coffee filter does the exact same thing. It actually lets air pass through, but it catches what? Well, it catches the dirt, okay? So, Jessica, if a vacuum cleaner filter is doing its job, should it be clean or dirty?
Dirty.
It should be dirty, right? So let's see if there's any dirt here in your filter. You ready? So this is where I use my light, and I'm gonna hold the light still, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna move the filter. All right, so let's see if there's any dirt in here. Looks like it's doing what? Well, Jose, it's doing exactly what it should do. It's catching the dirt. All right, so it's got some dirt in there. So I'm gonna put anything that makes it through that filter, what's going to come into this filter right here? So you got another one right here. Now again, clean or dirty if it's doing its job, Sybil? It's going to be dirty, exactly right. So let me hold my light up here again. I got the filter. Now at this point, you know what they're doing, right? They're all backing up. They're like freaking out. All this stuff is falling on the floor. There's like clumps falling out everywhere. I say, y'all don't worry. I'm going to get all that up off the floor. I promise. All right. I'm going to just start sticking everything back together. So again, the filters are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Now, at this point, my hands are kind of filthy. All right. And there's dust all over everything. I like to wear black pants on my damn boat because now there's there's dust all over my pants, okay? So then we'll come back and do what it says here on number 2. It says hit the filters. Well, then I've got a 2.5 right here that says I need to read the fact page after I hit the filter. So I come back and I'm just going to read some facts to them. See, it says that many vacuum cleaners actually contribute to unhealthy living conditions. See, bacteria thrive and multiply in warm, dark, and filthy places. And I'm not saying y'all's house is filthy, don't get me wrong, okay? But where'd y'all have this at? So they went and pulled it from where? They pulled it out of the closet, most likely, right? You know what they don't have in the closet? Well, they don't have a nightlight in there, so it's dark, right? And here in the house, it's not hot, it's not cold. Well, it's usually pretty warm, right? So if it's warm and it's dark, and inside here where all the dirt is, well, that's called filthy. So if it's warm and dark, it's filthy. That right there is a breeding ground for bacteria. Right? So I'm not saying your house is filthy, but that's a breeding ground for bacteria. Now, bacteria are often the source of objectionable odors. All right? I don't know if y'all have ever had a vacuum had an odor. You ever had a vacuum had an odor before, Eddie? Yeah, well, you know, I had a Bessel. And I hated to use it, Jose, because the way it made my house smelled like a cross between like wet dog and electrical fire. I mean, it was really gross. Every time we turned it on, it was just disgusting, right? You know, but, you know, maybe y'all's is like that, but I don't know. But every time we used it, I hated to turn it on like that. I thought it was from the dog hair we sucked up that made it smell like that. But knowing what I know now, it's just bacteria, which is really gross when you think about it. It says each time you run your vacuum cleaner, bacteria, odors, and unhealthy air are emitted back into the air in your room. So essentially, every time you turn on your vacuum, we're just emitting all this unhealthiness back out to your room, which is really gross. Okay? Now, number 3 here says have customer hold the light, and I need the exhaust to point up. So this is where I would get my customer to hold the light. Okay, so I get them to hold the light. So they're holding the light. Now I'm going to bring, now because I've gotten up, sometimes the customer may stand up. So at this point I said, no, you sit down. I'm going to bring this over to y'all. Okay, so then I'm going to bring the box. I'm going to bring the box, the vacuum, and everything all the way over to them. Now I need the exhaust pointed up, which is why I needed to feel for it how with my hands. Okay, so I felt for it with my hands. I know that the exhaust comes out right here on top. Okay, so now they've got the light. And I'm going to have them hold it about right there, just about this much over top of the exhaust. Okay, so they're going to hold it right there. Now, I always like to get down here with them like I don't expect to see anything. Okay, now you know what I don't do is tell them that they're going to see a whole bunch of stuff come out. Now, I've made that mistake before. And then when I did that, nothing came out and I looked like an idiot, right? The husband says, I guess my vacuum ain't as bad as you thought. And in my head, I was thinking, well, crap, I guess he's right, right? So I kind of set myself up for failure right there. So so don't do that. I always like to set people up to not see anything. And then, Steve, anything that does come out, well, that's just an added bonus right here. So I always say, hey, have you ever seen any dirt or dust come out of this Eureka while you use it? They might say yes, they might say no. I said, well, listen, you're probably not going to see anything this time because Eureka, man, they make a pretty awesome vacuum. Okay, so you probably won't see anything. So just in case, I tell you what, you go ahead and hold that light. And if you'll turn that on, we'll see if we see anything. All right, so they've got the light turned on now. And now I'm going to go on and off really quick. Now, I'm not going to let it run for really, really long, okay? So it's going to go about like this. Oh, my gosh. Now, it's on, it's off, okay? Now I'm gonna grab my rainbow. And then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna start cleaning up the air. I'm so sorry. I did not know it was gonna blow out of there like that. Here, let me dust you off here. Well, I'm pretty sure it got on you. Smells better too, doesn't it? Right? Let me ask you this, Jose. Was that cleaning or polluting right there? That was polluting, right?
Polluting.
Absolutely. What about right there? That cleaning or polluting? I know y'all can't see that.
It's definitely cleaning.
That's cleaning, right? Now, just gonna leave that running for just a second. Whew. Brian, does it blow out like that every time you turn it on? You don't know. You've probably never seen it because you never used a really bright light. But what if I found a way, Candace, what if I found a way to permanently attach the light here, where every time you turned it on from now on, the light came on too? You actually had to watch it blow out like that every time you turned it on. You think you'd use this machine more often or less often? You do less. You know what I told them when they showed me this? Tell them to throw it in a dumpster, right? But you know, knowing now that it is doing that, Sybil, knowing that it's blowing out half of what it's picking up, Eddie, do you think that you ever going to eliminate this condition from your home if you're using a bag or filter vacuum? You're not, are you? Now, did I ask them if they were going to get rid of this condition using this vacuum? No, it's not this vacuum. What are we talking about? See, the only time I actually said Eureka, right? The only time I said Eureka was, yo, this Eureka makes a great vacuum, when I told them that you're probably not going to see a whole lot. See, the whole time, what have we talked about? Well, it was the concept here of the bags and the filters. That's what we're killing. It's called a VacKill, but it's not their vacuum that I'm killing. It's that whole concept of bags and filters. And the fact that this right here, this dirt that's floating around in the air, this is a condition in your home. And the only way you're going to get rid of it is not just to clean the air, but to clean the floor too. And that's getting it in the water, because nothing comes out of the water, which I show them with the mini vac later. Okay. But here I got to show them that their vacuum is never going to get rid of it because it's blowing it right back out. Right. I don't know if y'all could see on the video here that eruption of dirt that came out. All right. But that's pretty gross. Okay. So listen, you know, all of that, and there's 3 basic steps when it comes to doing your VacKill. Hopefully you can see the board. Cool. So your VacKill consists of 3 steps. Number 1, you got to find the exhaust with your hand. All right. Why do you find, and I realize that you probably can't read that, but you find the exhaust with your hand. Why do you want to find it with your hand? Well, Candace, you got to know where to hold the light. Okay. So you're finding it with your hand. Where does the air come out of the vacuum, right? Not just where does it come out, Jose, where does it go when it comes out? Because listen, just because you find a spot, and you can see here, this goes all the way around. You see all those holes? Well, that doesn't mean that the air is going to come out of every one of those holes, because the problem is you got filters in there and the filters are going to be clogged up. The air may only come out of this much. It may come out over here. So I got to find it with my hand. Where am I going to hold the light when it comes time to blow the dirt out? Okay. So I'm finding the exhaust with my hand so I know where to hold the light when I get down to that step. So find the exhaust with your hand, right? Step number 2, this is where you're going to hit all of the filters. Hit the filters. Now, I'm not talking like just tapping on the filters, no. Did you notice that when I was hitting the filters, like I was knocking the crap out of the filters, okay? Like I need there to be a dust cloud in the room. I need there to be crap falling on the floor like we're making a mess, right? Plus that gives me stuff to clean up later, all right? So we hit the filters. Why are we hitting the filters? Well, what's the problem with the filter right now? Well, their filter's all clogged up. It's never been replaced. All that dirt's packed in there. How much air is getting through their filter when you start this? None. Sybil, you're right. So right now, the holes in their filter look like this. They're all clogged up. So when I start beating on them, right, I'm loosening up these holes where now all of a sudden, a little bit of air is able to get through, right? So I'm going to take their clogged up filter and reset that bad boy back to factory, right? So I open up those holes, and now all of a sudden a little bit of air is able to get through. Well, Eddie, when some air comes through, guess what else is able to come through with it? Yep. So when some air comes through, that means some dirt comes through, right? So I hit the filters to allow for it to be a little more dramatic when I get down to the next step. And that's step number 3. This is my favorite part of it. Step number 3 is blow the filter. Okay. So 3 super simple, easy steps when it comes to doing the VacKill. Find the exhaust with your hand, hit the filters, blow the filth. Now, did I do more than that? Yeah, but the rest of that, it's just filler. It's just fluff. So you got 3 basic steps. Find the exhaust with your hand, okay? Hit the filters, and then blow the filth. Now, you know, a lot of people don't do this part of the demo, and I've never really understood that. I don't know why, because I think, again, personally, this is my favorite part of the entire demo. But I think there's a lot of power that goes along with this part of the demo. Watching that eruption of dirt come out of your machine, this thing that we've been using for however long we've had, that's supposed to be cleaning our house, and now all of a sudden it's blowing all this crap back out into the room, right? So I think there's a lot of power that goes along with doing a VacKill in your demo, okay? See, when I'm done, I need you to never, ever want to turn this thing on again, okay? But again, not just killing the Eureka, it's that concept of bags and filters, right? If it's got a bag or a filter, it's doing the same thing, right? So, but that's your VacKill. Any questions on doing a VacKill? Anybody have any experiences with a VacKill that you want to talk about? Has anybody ever done a VacKill? Okay, so some of you shaking your head yes, so that's positive. Steve Petro says yes. He doesn't have a microphone, but he's sending chat. So, we'll,
part 2.
Do what? What'd you say, Sybil?
I said it's my favorite part of the demo too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
they were really upset. They did not want that vacuum anymore.
You know, that's if you show them that something that they've relied on, that something they thought was cleaning their home was that all of a sudden they know now is polluting it and it isn't doing what they thought was doing. Well, you know, it just makes sense that you should do something else. So then you move on and you show them what that something else is. Okay. Now, so what else can you do? So I think that's, you know, that's really powerful when it comes to selling a rainbow. Of course, after you do that, then you're going to come in, you're going to do your 52 stroke. And after the 52 stroke, You do your bottle scratch. How many of you do a bottle scratch? I think that, again, if you don't do a bottle scratch, I think you should be doing that, because you're showing them what's happening to their floor when they're sanding grit. What's happening to the floor when you walk across it. It's sanding the floor down if they have hardwoods, and it's if they have carpet, how you get little pathways worn in it. And then you're going to do your mini vac. Now the mini vac, that's a whole nother section. That's a whole nother class right there. Which the mini vac, if you don't know how to do a good mini vac, you need to come see us, because that's kind of the meat and potatoes of the whole rainbow demo right there. How many of you are still pulling 30 dirty cloths when you do your demo? If you're not pulling, Jose, you and Chelsea were here today and we talked about it. You know, what's the point of pulling 30 dirty cloths? Go ahead, you unmuted. I thought you were going to say something.
Well, I was just going to answer the question.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the point of it is to show them how dirty it is, to show them how much the rainbow cleans better than their vacuum, and how it cleans better than their house.
Right. So, so the point of pulling 30 dirty cloths. So, you know, you got to show them some value in the rainbow. You know, if they don't see enough value, they're never going to buy. But at some point during the demo, you take at some point during this demo, the value exceeds the price. And when you get to that point, that's where the sale happens. When the value exceeds the price, when they see that the rainbow's worth what you're asking for it. But how do you get to that point? Well, pulling 30 dirty cloths is going to help you get to that point. But see, some people can do a rainbow demo and sell a rainbow and do a really shoddy demo and sell this thing on their personality. All right. And sell the rainbow and pull 2 or 3 or 5 dirty cloths. Right. So what I figured out when I was new was that I couldn't do that. I figured out I couldn't do that. I had to do more of the demo. I had to learn to do more of the things that Ryan and Jay were teaching me. I had to pull a ton of dirt because I didn't have the skill of being able to do it with just a couple of dirty cloths, right? And being able to sell with my personality. Now, eventually, you know, you figure out some of that stuff over time, but the dirt is what's going to sell the rainbow. Now, Ryan and I were having a conversation the other day, you know, last month in the month of March, we did a Dirty 30 contest where we said, pull 30 dirty cloths on every demo and send you dirty pictures to Ryan. Not the naughty pictures, the dirty pictures. And you sent your dirty pictures to Ryan, and we paid $20 for every demo that you did where you sent those dirty cloths in. And then we stopped. April 1st, the contest is over. And literally yesterday, we were having a conversation about how it was amazing that we stopped the contest and all of a sudden people stopped sending cloths. Or if they were sending a picture, the picture now contains 10 cloths or 15 cloths. Well, you know, the point of doing that contest was to get you in the habit of doing 30. I mean, the dirt's what sells the rainbow. The more dirt you show somebody, the more likely you are to show a rainbow. So the more dirt you show, the more value you build, the more likely you are to send. Steve, you're exactly right. Money talks. I'm sorry, what did you say? You said money talks. Absolutely. So you got to show them dirt. What the old saying around here is pull dirt till you hit pay dirt. So, you know, I'm glad looking back 6 years ago, Crystal, the lady that came to my house, she showed us a lot of dirt. And I'm thankful she did, because had she come in and only shown us, you know, 4 or 5 dirty cloths, I probably would have been able to overlook that. You know, we vacuumed and shampooed the night before. So if she had only shown us 4 or 5 dirty cloths, then I would have been thinking, okay, no big deal. We vacuumed, we shampooed, we got most of it. There's a little bit left over. No big deal, right? But when you come in and you show somebody 30, 40, 50 dirty cloths, and then it's like it was when she came to my house, knowing that we had vacuumed and shampooed the night before, and then she came in and showed us that much dirt. You can't overlook that. So get in that habit. Pull 30 cloths, pull 40, pull 50 cloths. Do it on every demo, not just when there's a contest, and show people the dirt. The dirt's what's going to sell the rainbow. Okay, so the more dirt you show somebody, the better chance you got of selling rainbow. That don't matter what kind of house you're in. If you got hardwood floors, pull the dirt from the hardwoods, pull the dirt from the wall and the ceiling and their couch and their mattress and the lampshade and the dog bed and the welcome mat. I mean, you got to pull dirt from everywhere. Sometimes you got to get a little creative, but you got to show them a ton of dirt. Again, the more dirt you show somebody, the more likely you are to sell a rainbow. So just keep doing that. And who knows, maybe we'll do a Dirty 30 contest again next month. Anybody have any questions?
No, you got it.
Okay, so guys, I think that's about everything that I'm going to cover for tonight. We've been just not quite an hour, but you got your VacKill. If you're not doing a VacKill, learn to do one. Again, super powerful when they see that eruption of dirt blow out of their vacuum. So important that we do that. Don't leave that part of the demo out. We need them to never want to turn this thing on again. They're going to need a replacement for it, and that replacement needs to be the rainbow. Let's start doing the VacKill and let's get good at that. And if nobody has any questions, guys, let's get back to work. Get your sales to repost the survey. Get them to send you a screenshot of that public post and send that picture over to me. Again, leave it up for 3 days. After 3 days, we'll send them a bottle of disinfectant deodorizer, okay? So y'all send me those pictures.
I got it.
You got it?
Awesome.
All right. Well,
Hey, anyone need anything from Walmart? Brianna's shopping.
Jose and Chelsea, they've been in about 3 department stores. They're definitely going to get the virus.
Yep, definitely.
South Carolina opened it up. They're good to go now. All right, guys. Everybody have a good night. Stay safe.
Night.
You too. Good night.